The HOA president called the cops on me right in front of my own house. Two squad cars pulled up, lights flashing red and blue against my beat-up Chevy Silverado. Evelyn, that's the HOA Queen Bee, was yelling at the officers like a banshee. Arrest him. He's parking work trucks here and claims he's not part of our association. Just an hour before, I told her straight up, calm as could be, ma'am, this property's never been in your HOA, and it never will be. She cackled like I told a bad joke, slapped a $250 fine notice on my mailbox, and dialed 911 while hightailing it back to her golf cart. What she didn't know was that I'd been poring over old county records for months. What I uncovered was about to turn her tidy little world inside out. The cops glanced at my documents, nodded politely, and drove off. Evelyn stood there in her designer sundress, mouth agape. But that was only the start. By the end of it all, she wouldn't be my HOA boss. She'd be renting from me. 6 months back, I figured the roughest patch of my life was losing half my savings in a messy divorce down in Atlanta. Boy, was I mistaken. The real nightmare kicked off when I inherited my grandfather's old farmhouse in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. I'm Thomas Harlan, 45 years old, and after crashing on a friend's couch for too long, that rundown place on 2.5 acres, family land since 1923, felt like a fresh start. Peeling paint, creaky porch, barn reeking of old grease and hay. But it was mine. What I hadn't bargained for was the suburban sprawl that had crept up while I'd been away. Right next door sprouted Meadowview Estates, 200 cookie-cutter mansions with pretentious names like the Hampton and the Windsor. Each one probably worth more than I'd earn in a few years, with lawns mowed to perfection and driveways spotless enough to host a picnic. My first day there, I'm unloading my tool trailer when I hear heels clicking on the gravel. In marches this polished woman in her early 50s, hair stiff with spray, clutching a fancy binder like she's delivering court papers. Her perfume hits me like a wave. Expensive stuff, pricier than top-shelf bourbon. Welcome to Meadowview, she says with a smile faker than a $3 bill. I'm Evelyn Caldwell, your HOA president. Here's our community guidelines packet. She hands over this hefty stack, bound like a coffee table book. It weighs more than my wrench set. Appreciate it, I reply, but there's a mix-up. This land isn't under any HOA. Her smile falters like she'd sucked on a sour grape. Oh, but we all uphold the standards here. Property values, you know. I look from her manicured paradise to my grandfather's weathered home. Ma'am, this farm predates your whole neighborhood by 80 years. Harlan family's been rooted here before your folks were even born. That's when her sweet southern charm evaporates. Mr. Harlan, she snaps, voice dropping like a stone. You don't seem to understand how things work around here. This is an upscale community with rules. She jabs a finger at my truck, my trailer, even my old border collie buddy sniffing around the tire swing. All this needs fixing now. Fixing how? Commercial vehicles go off-site. That barn eyesore gets painted or torn down. And your yard needs professional care to blend in. She sniffs like the place insulted her personally. My jaw tightens. And if I pass? Her grin returns, sharp as a knife. My husband Edward's on the city council. We know folks in county offices. I'm sure we can find ways to encourage cooperation. The warning hangs thick in the humid air. Toe the line or drown in paperwork. She struts back to her silver BMW, plate reading HOA Queen, subtle as a sledgehammer, and peels out, leaving a trail of perfume and veiled threats. That night, I'm on the porch with a cold beer, buddy at my feet, watching fireflies flicker over the fields. The hum of AC units from the mansions clashes with the crickets in my overgrown grass. Something about this setup smells fishy, worse than the barn on a scorcher. But Evelyn doesn't realize I've spent 15 years in construction. I know property laws, titles, and how developers skimp to cut costs. 3 days later, I'm knee-deep in an engine rebuild when a county truck rumbles up, followed by Evelyn's BMW like a bad omen. Out steps a sweaty inspector in a rumpled shirt, clipboard in hand. Evelyn trails him, sunglasses on, smirking like a cat with a canary. Thomas Harlan? Rick Thompson, County Code Enforcement. Complaints about zoning issues. I wipe grease from my hands, taking my time. What complaints? Evelyn pipes up, phone recording. Commercial vehicles and residential, unlicensed business, possible oil spills. I've navigated Atlanta's building codes. One wrong permit can ruin you faster than a shady lawyer. As Thompson measures my trailer, the tape zinging sharp, I stay ahead. Inspector, what's the zoning here? He flips pages, sweating bullets. Agricultural residential mixed. And vehicle storage? More shuffling. Honeysuckle scent mixes with my WD-40. Allows commercial for farm-related work, repairs, and set hours. His voice fades. Which covers all this? Evelyn's face cracks. But noise laws, pollution. Ma'am. Thompson cuts in, wiping his brow. It's all compliant. No issues. He bolts. Evelyn gapes like a stranded fish. That night, something bugs me. The inspection felt scripted. I head to the courthouse before close. The clerk, sweet old Mrs. Jenkins, pulls dusty surveys from the 20s. My 2.5 acres? Part of an original 40-acre Harlan farm. Key detail. Great-grandpa kept mineral rights when selling parcels in the 60s. In Tennessee, that means everything below 6 feet, foundations, utilities. If not transferred right, every Meadowview house sits on Harlan land underneath. Next morning, I feel upbeat. I plant a sign, Harlan Farm Est. 1923, private property. Install cameras along the lines. Then I launch Harlan small engine repair, legal under zoning. Neighbors queue with busted mowers. Engines roar all afternoon. By dusk, Evelyn's BMW cruises by slow, phone to ear, likely ratting me out. But while she's dialing complaints, I'm calling a title lawyer. Her bullying just lit a fire under me to dig deeper. A week passes quiet. Maybe she backed off after the flop inspection. Then Tuesday, a patrol car rolls up. Officer Ramirez, young and reluctant. Suspicious activity call. Mind if I check? Suspicious. Possible drug lab, chemical smells, odd visitors. I nearly choke on coffee. That's carb cleaner, not meth. He pokes around, apologizes, leaves. Afternoon, another call, Buddy's aggressive. Ramirez returns, sees Buddy rolling for belly rubs from a kid neighbor size. Anonymous again. Same voice, different names. By week's end, noise gripes, truck hazards. Ramirez weighs without exiting. Pattern's clear, Evelyn's abusing cops. After the sixth false alarm, he pulls me aside. Off record, log everything. Get a lawyer. Her husband's councilman. She's wired to the commissioner. Some of us hate being her attack dogs. I start a log. Dates, reports versus reality. Construction taught me paperwork wins fights. I chat up friendlies too. Mrs. Whitaker brings cookies, spills tea. You're not her first. Harassed the Parkers over a garden. Called it unsightly farming. Forced them to rip it out. The Fletchers. Ryan's bike. Noise fines, even for commuting. Petition to boot him from HOA perks. Kid did 2 tours in Iraq. Comes home to that. Evelyn targets misfits. Elderly minorities like the Parkers. Vets like Ryan with PTSD. Now me, a divorced handyman. Next day, documenting Evelyn's drive-by snaps. Ryan strolls up. Mid-20s, built solid, quiet intensity. Heard you're clashing with the neighborhood Gestapo. We bond over her lens from her window. She's measuring your driveway. Says it encroaches on county right-of-way to force your trucks back. But my records check shows my land juts 3 feet farther, including under Evelyn's lawn. That night, sharing beers with Ryan, watching her house. She'll ramp up. Counting on it. 2 weeks on, she goes big. Process server hands a thick envelope from Caldwell Law, Edwards firm. Cease and desist. My nuisance drops values. $50,000 suit threat. Afternoon, I hire surveyor Hank from the original dev firm. He measures for hours, chains clinking amid cicadas. Evelyn watches from her yard, filming. Done. He spreads the map on my tailgate. Your line's here. Her fence 3 feet over, shed fully on yours. And front beds. Her roses in your soil. Irony hits hard. She's violated while preaching standards. I send certified mail. Notice of encroachment, 30 days to remove. Next morning, Evelyn's screech echoes. Impossible. Get another surveyor. By noon, hers confirms. She slumps. Afternoon, she knocks. Bribe time. Mr. Harlan, let's accommodate. Sell me a strip for $15,000 easement. 15 grand for her free ride. Ballsy. I'll think. Disputes cost. Courts, fees. Edward knows everyone. Cases drag years. Threat noted. My phone records it all. I call Emily Hawthorne, boundary whiz. Playing the tape. She chuckles. Extortion gold. But your survey opens doors on the whole dev. Night. Ryan helps install floodlights on lines, beaming at disputed spots. She'll see. Question what next? Morning, at courthouse with Emily. Sharp, 40s, battle-tested. Sloppy titles, or fraud, she says, poring over 2014 surveys versus 60s deeds. Smoking gun. Great-grandpa retains subsurface rights for 40 acres. Legally, you own under every house. Better, dev firm Summit Realty bankrupted 2018. Contracts revert. Who fast-tracked permits? Edward Caldwell, post-Summit donations. Corruption trail. Edward greased wheels, took cash. Now they bully me to hide it. Options. Quiet title suit. Notify all owners of title clouds. Odds good for subsurface win. I'd be landlord to 127 homes. Rent or sell, clear titles. Irony thick. Evelyn harasses over values while on shaky ground. Afternoon. Papers everywhere at my table. File soon. Notices panic them. Emily strategizes while I rally neighbors. Evening, Mrs. Whitaker with cookies. Emergency HOA meet tomorrow. You're a problem. Agenda. Unlicensed biz, hazards, value threats. But board's weary of her. Henderson's fined for mailbox color. Patel's for visible car. Williams for garden. Resistance brews. Folks fear Edward's pull. If they knew it might not last. Ryan nods. Something brewing? Can't spill yet. Days later, free repairs build goodwill. Stories pour. Harassment of minorities, vets. Folks love homes, fear title fights. Emily finds precedents. 87 case. Family 1 leases under subdev. Key. Assert rights timely. Evelyn's attacks prove I did. By Friday, logs solid, allies growing. We plan, info session, Sunday in barn, property rights chat, no legal hint. Saturday night, porch with Buddy, eyeing Meadowview lights. Families chasing dreams on potentially my land. Evelyn aimed to oust me. Instead, she'll learn bullying backfires. Sunday heat, barn packed, 30-plus neighbors. Mid-explain, Evelyn bursts in with reporters, cameraman. As president, addressing misinformation. Reporter, you tipped us on dispute tanking values. Yes, unlicensed ops, hazards, values down 15%. Fiction, but alarming. Mrs. Whitaker stands. Evelyn's harassed minorities, Parkers, Patels, us, for years. Ryan. Values up 8% per records. Camera shifts. Evelyn fumes. I unveil survey. Her fence shed on my land. Ignored notice. Reporter gleams. Evelyn. Extortion. Edwards councilman. Docs prove proper. Slip. Implies pull. On air. Corruption hint. Post-crew barn buzzes. Some shaken, angry. Mrs. Whitaker spots Emily's papers. Title suit. Courthouse pal mentioned. Evening. Ryan cleans. Well? Better. Evelyn threatened vets. Teachers on TV. Admitting influence abuse. Her deck rant drifts over. Desperate now. Monday, news airs. Calls flood. Neighbors fret titles. Lose everything. I reassure. Protect homeowners. Tuesday, black SUVs. Inspectors swarm. ENV. Codes. Fire. Health. Fishing for violations. For hours probing. Find zilch. My ops legit. Emily. Signed complaints. Subpoena bait for harassment proof. Evening. Evelyn and Edward at door. Confusion on boundaries. Edward smarms. No confusion. Trespass. Bad permits. Disputes drag. Costly. Settle reasonably. Evelyn. $50,000 to drop claims. Sign lines. Decline. Phone captures. Government remembers troublemakers. Delays. Scrutiny. Corruption on tape. 3 weeks later. HOA meet packs clubhouse. 200 chairs. Overflow. News lights. Evelyn at podium. Strained. Questions on legal mess. Shouts. Mortgage wants title check. Chaos. Edward intervenes. Frivolous suit. Extortion. I stand. Explains summit donations pre-permits. Silence. Incomplete. ENV studies. Emily spreads docs. Subdev on fraud titles. Incomplete transfers. Panic. Our foundation's on his land. I play tape. Edward's threats. Cameras catch. Career tanks. Commissioner rises. Propose. Fix together. 6 months on. Clubhouse celebrates community center opening. From settlement funds. Suit 1. Subsurface rights mine. Harassment damages. Audit exposed ENV shortcuts. Code skipped. Bribes to 3 officials. State guy. Edward resigned. Federal charges. Evelyn fled to Florida. Low-key. No evictions. Nominal fees for clear titles. New Democratic board. Mrs. Whitaker president. Ryan security. Fees down 60%. Services up. Parker's regrow garden. Ryan's club teaches kids. Patel's spice heaven. I expand repair to Harlan Rights Foundation. Free title help. Stopped 3 dev scams. Emily on board. Healing. Librarian Laura on porch now. Buddy snoozing. Farmhouse upgraded. Sign welcomes. Annual Heritage Fest unites old and new. Lessons spread. Verify titles. Document bullying. Stand up. Evelyn's letter apologizes. Now realtor stressing checks. What do you think about the injustice and abuse of power in stories like this? Share your take in the comments. Have you faced HOA bullies or similar unfairness? Let's hear your stance on standing against it.